We have shared the first 5 secrets Our Lady revealed about the Rosary. Today we will continue with the next 5 secrets. I believe you should not skip them because they may be essential for your salvation. The 6th secret Our Lady revealed is this: those who pray the Rosary will receive a special outpouring of her mercy, even at the hour of death. Mercy is a word often spoken, but rarely understood. People imagine it as softness, kindness, forgiveness. But divine mercy, Mary's mercy, is something far more powerful. It is the last door of heaven opening for a soul who thought it had no right to knock. And this is the story of a man who discovered that truth only when his final breath was near. Mykola was not a man of faith. In fact, for most of his life, he avoided anything that looked like religion. He had lost his father young, watched his mother suffer through poverty, and carried hard questions no one could answer. If God existed, Mykola reasoned, he had no interest in him. So he walked away. Years passed. He worked, drank loudly, and kept his past locked up where no memory could bother him. People often said he had a good heart, but he never believed them. He carried too much regret, too many sins he refused to name, too much anger toward heaven. Then came the illness, swift, unexpected, merciless. Doctors said he had only weeks. His body weakened. His voice faded, his room filled with the quiet ticking of borrowed time. Friends visited less. The days grew heavy, nights grew even heavier. But someone still came every evening. It was his sister, Oksana. She would sit by his bedside, hold a small wooden rosary, and pray softly. She never forced him to join. She simply prayed because she believed someone should pray for him. Someone had to. Sometimes he listened. Sometimes he pretended not to. But the rhythm of the beads began to disturb something inside him. Something old, buried, forgotten. Then one night, when the pain in his chest became unbearable, he whispered, "Oksana, why do you keep praying that? Do you think it can change anything now?" She looked at him with eyes full of sorrow and firmness. It's not too late. Our Lady never abandons her children, not even at the last moment. And she has a promise for those who are prayed for with the Rosary. "What promise?" he asked bitterly. "That she will open the gate of mercy for them, even if they return at the final hour." He turned his face to the wall, unwilling to believe, but too tired to argue. That night, something strange happened. The fever rose, and Mykola slipped into a half-conscious state. The room around him faded into shadows. He felt himself sinking into cold, darkness, and a fear he could not escape. For the first time since childhood, he felt truly alone. Then he heard it. A voice. Soft, warm, motherly. "My child?" He opened his eyes. He was not in the darkness anymore. A light, gentle, not blinding, surrounded him, and in that light stood a woman cloaked in white, sorrow and glory woven together in her face. She did not accuse him. She did not judge him. She simply looked at him the way a mother looks at a wounded son finally coming home. "My child," she repeated, "you have been far from my son, but I have never been far from you." He felt his soul trembling. "I'm not worthy," he whispered. "No one is worthy," she said. "But mercy does not wait for worthiness. It waits for desire. She lifted a rosary, radiant, alive with light. As long as someone prays for you with this chain of grace, the gate of mercy remains open. He saw Oksana then, kneeling beside his bed, whispering Hail Marys through tears. Her hands trembled, her voice cracked, but she did not stop. The lady smiled gently. Her prayer has reached heaven. Will you accept the mercy my son offers? Mykola could not speak. The weight of his life, decades of anger, pride, sin, and silence collapsed. All he could say, through shaking breath, was, "Yes, if he will still take me." The lady touched his forehead. He has been waiting.
He awoke with a gasp. Oksana leaned over him. "Mykola? Mykola, are you okay?" His eyes filled with tears. Tears she had never seen from him, not even as a boy. "Give me the rosary." She froze, stunned. Slowly, she placed it in his hands. His fingers, weak and trembling, closed around it. He began praying, not perfectly, not strongly, not even confidently, but sincerely. Decades of distance collapsed in a single moment of surrender. As dawn approached, his breath grew softer, his eyes grew distant, but his hands still clutched the beads. When he exhaled for the last time, his face was peaceful, radiantly so. The priest who came to anoint him whispered, "Blessed is the man who dies holding the mother's chain." And Oksana wept, not because he was gone, but because she knew where he had gone. This is the sixth secret. Those who pray the rosary, and those prayed for through the rosary, will receive extraordinary mercy at the hour of death. It is the final door opened, the final chance offered, the final embrace waiting for even the most distant soul. For Mary's heart is not a throne of judgment. It is the gate of mercy.
The seventh secret Our Lady revealed is this: every rosary you pray saves souls from darkness. Souls you may never meet, souls you may never know, souls who cry out for help with no one left to hear them but God. Most people pray without ever seeing the impact of their prayers. They whisper decades in the quiet of their rooms, never realizing that somewhere, far beyond their sight, a soul is rising out of despair because of those very words. But there was one man who was allowed to see it, and it changed him forever. Elias had been a Catholic his entire life, but not a fervent one. He believed in God, yes. He went to Mass occasionally. He prayed the rosary once in a while, mostly out of habit. But he never thought deeply about it. His faith was a quiet afterthought, like a flame he kept in the corner of the room, but never bothered to tend. Until the night he saw the vision. It happened after a long, weary day. Elias had prayed a rosary almost absent-mindedly before bed. His heart wasn't particularly fervent, his mind drifted constantly. When he finished, he sighed, feeling almost embarrassed. "Lord, I know my prayers are weak. I don't know if they even matter." Then he closed his eyes, and the room disappeared. He found himself standing on the edge of a vast, bleak emptiness. The air was thick, heavy, suffocating. Far below him stretched a chasm, a pit without walls, without end.
nothing but shadows moving restlessly in its depths. Then he heard it, a cry. Not the cry of physical pain, but of spiritual despair, a sound no human should ever hear. It echoed upward like a plea ripped from the heart of someone falling, sinking, drowning in darkness. He stepped closer, and that's when he saw her. A soul, fragile, flickering like a dying candle, was descending slowly into the abyss. She looked young, yet burdened by a weight far beyond her years. Her eyes, wide with terror, were fixed on something he could not see. Chains of shadow wrapped around her, pulling her downward. Every attempt she made to rise ended in failure. Elias felt helpless. He tried calling out, but his voice made no sound. He reached for her, but his hands passed through the air. She could not hear him. She could not see him. She was utterly alone, and she was falling. A despair like he had never known pierced him. Why am I here? Why am I seeing this? Before he could form the thought fully, a soft light appeared beside him. Gentle, pure, warm. Our Lady. She did not stand in grand radiance. She appeared almost like a mother in mourning, serene, sorrowful, but filled with unwavering hope. She pointed toward the descending soul. "This one," she said, "is in great danger." Elias felt his heart twist. Why can't she escape? She cannot rise on her own. Her soul has become too heavy from wounds, sins, and despair. Then who will save her? He asked, voice trembling. Mary looked at him with eyes deep as eternity. "You already have." He froze. What? "The rosary you prayed tonight, this soul heard it." Elias shook his head. "But I prayed so poorly. I wasn't even focused." "Even a weak prayer," she replied, "when given with sincerity, becomes strong in my hands."
A thread of golden light appeared above the falling soul, thin at first, then stronger, brighter. It wrapped gently around her, loosening the dark chains, lifting her little by little. The shadows screamed, recoiling from the light as if burned. The soul gasped, her eyes shining with the faintest spark of hope. And Elias realized the thread was his rosary. Every bead he had prayed, every distracted Hail Mary had become a strand of mercy, strong enough to pull a soul from the edge of despair. The soul began rising, slowly, painfully, but unmistakably upward. The abyss growled below, unwilling to release her, but the rosary held, the light strengthened, the chains snapped one by one. She wept as she ascended, whispering a thank you he could not fully hear. And then she disappeared into the light. Elias fell to his knees, overwhelmed. Our Lady placed her hand over his shoulder. "You see now," she said, "what you could not see before." "Does this happen every time someone prays the rosary?" he asked. She nodded gently. "Each prayer is a lifeline. Each decade is a chain of rescue. You will not know the souls you save until heaven, but every rosary, every single one, pulls someone out of darkness." Tears blurred his vision. "I had no idea," he whispered. Mary smiled, a smile filled with hope and promise. "That is why I revealed this secret, not so you will fear, but so you will understand. When you pray, you are never praying alone. Heaven prays with you, souls wait for you, and grace flows through you." The vision faded. Elias woke up in his bed, heart pounding, rosary tangled in his fingers. He prayed again, this time with trembling devotion.
This is the seventh secret. Every rosary you pray becomes a rope of light for a soul in darkness. You may never meet them, you may never know them, but they rise because you prayed. And someday, in eternity, a soul you saved without knowing will run to you and call you family. The eighth secret Our Lady longs to reveal to you is this: those who persevere in praying the Holy Rosary will receive graces so extraordinary that human understanding cannot contain them. These graces do not flash like miracles on a public stage. They seep silently into the soul, reshaping it, strengthening it, transforming it in ways seen only in hindsight. Our Lady's promise is not poetic exaggeration. It is a spiritual law carved in heaven. To understand the weight of this mystery, one must look beyond saints and mystics, and instead toward a man entirely of the earth, Professor Adrian Ballar, one of the most brilliant minds of his generation. He was a scientist, a mathematician, a logician whose name echoed through universities and research institutes. Admirers praised him as a genius. Critics grudgingly admitted the same. Yet what made him unforgettable was not his brilliance, but the strange, disarming humility that surrounded him like a cloak. He had every reason to be proud. His discoveries shaped policies, influenced industries, and opened doors to modern technologies. But when people asked him about the secret of his success, he would smile, lift his eyes gently, and say only, "The Rosary teaches me more than any textbook ever could." Most assumed he was joking. He was not. Few knew the full story because he rarely spoke of it. As a young man, Adrian had been wildly ambitious, consumed by the hunger to achieve. His professors predicted he would surpass all of them, and he believed it. But on the night before he defended his first major thesis, his confidence cracked. He had worked for years, yet something felt incomplete. His logic was flawless, but his heart was restless. He felt as if invisible shadows crowded around him, whispering failure, confusion, collapse.
In a moment of desperation, he opened the drawer of his late mother's desk and found her old rosary, worn, faded, familiar. Something in him broke. He fell to his knees, clutching the beads, tears flooding his eyes. For the first time in his life, he prayed from the soul, not the intellect. And in that moment, a calmness descended, a peace so deep it frightened him. The shadows dissolved, clarity returned, not as sharp knowledge, but as a quiet strength that held him upright. He defended his thesis the next morning. Not only did he pass, he astonished the entire board. After that day, Adrian prayed the Rosary every night without fail. Years passed. Grace worked silently, invisibly. His colleagues assumed his humility was a personality trait, but in truth, it was a gift, one he never achieved by effort. Each rosary stripped his soul of pride. Each Hail Mary refined his thoughts, redirected his ambitions, softened his weaknesses. He often said that scientific knowledge fed his mind, but the Rosary fed something much deeper, something that made him see the world without the distortion of ego. And there was more. Near the end of his career, he confided to a younger colleague that several of his breakthroughs came not from calculation, but from sudden illuminations during prayer. Ideas he had struggled with for months suddenly aligned in his mind as clearly as stars in a winter sky. "It's as if," he whispered, "someone lifts a veil for just a moment." That someone, he knew, was Our Lady. The world celebrated him for his intellect. Heaven celebrated him for his perseverance in prayer. And so the eighth secret stands. Those who cling to the Rosary will walk under a rain of hidden graces, graces that shape their destiny, purify their heart, sharpen their wisdom, and lead them where human effort alone could never reach. Our Lady does not merely answer prayers, she transforms lives.
The ninth secret Our Lady desires to whisper to your soul is this: those who remain faithful, those who pray, who repent, who cling to the Rosary will not die unprepared. Their departure from this world will never be sudden in spirit, even if sudden in circumstance. Heaven will always give a warning, a grace, a final illumination before judgment. The faithful will not be caught in the dark. But to understand this promise, you must first look at the world today, a world shaken, bleeding, trembling on its foundations. Sudden deaths have multiplied like shadows at dusk. Every continent has tasted disasters no one foresaw. Floods swallowing cities, earthquakes cracking the earth like fragile glass, fires raging until the sky turned red, violence rising in places once peaceful, as if creation itself were trying to warn us. And yet, amid this chaos, miracles as quiet as whispers keep appearing if one knows where to look. In recent years, the world has witnessed storms unlike any before, especially across the islands of the Philippines. Typhoons rising from calm seas in a matter of hours, sweeping entire villages into the ocean. Families torn apart in moments. Reporters called them unexpected tragedies, but the faithful knew heaven had been warning through signs long before the clouds gathered. There was a woman named Marietta from Leyte, a simple mother who prayed the Rosary every dawn. Days before the great typhoon struck, she felt a restlessness in her chest, as if someone were gently shaking her spirit. She dreamed of waves rising high, but in the dream a woman dressed in light stood upon the water and whispered, "Take your children and go inland." Marietta woke trembling. She did not know if it was fear or grace, but she obeyed. She gathered her children, her elderly mother, and left her home by the shore. Neighbors laughed gently, thinking she was overreacting. When the typhoon came, the sea devoured her entire neighborhood. Days later, rescue workers found Marietta and her family safe in a school on higher ground. She never boasted. She only held her rosary and said, "She warned me. I heard her before the water rose." Another miracle, another quiet intervention lost among headlines.
Vietnam, too, has seen tragedies that arrived without warning. Sudden floods swallowing central provinces, landslides burying entire families, the skies breaking open with storms stronger than meteorologists predicted. But woven among the sorrows were stories people rarely spoke aloud. There was the fisherman from Quang Thi, who for years kept a small statue of Our Lady in his boat cabin. On the night of the great storm, he felt the statue fall from its shelf. When he picked it up, an unexplainable fear froze him. He turned the boat around, ignoring the clear sky and calm waters. Half an hour later, the storm struck, violently, without sign, without mercy. Several boats vanished. He survived only because he listened to the silent warning placed in his soul. When rescuers asked how he knew to turn back, he answered in tears, "I didn't know, but I felt she would not let me die unprepared."
But it isn't only the sea that brings sudden death. In recent years, fires have torn through forests in ways unseen for generations. From South America to Europe, from Australia to Asia, walls of flame devoured towns before alarms could be raised. Smoke swallowed highways, families fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs. And yet, stories of miraculous escapes emerged like sparks from ashes. A volunteer firefighter in California later said he saw a woman dressed in white standing in the road, motioning him to turn left. He turned. That decision led an entire team of trapped civilians out of the fire's path. Hours later, when he told the story, people dismissed it as hallucination. But he insisted, "I know what smoke does to the eyes, but this was different. Her light cut through it." These miracles are not rare. They are simply overlooked.
And then earthquakes, those sudden reminders that the ground beneath us is not as stable as we believe. Cities shaking without warning, buildings collapsing in seconds, families trapped under rubble. A man in Turkey once said that he had felt a strange compulsion minutes before the ground split open, an urge to step outside, to take his daughter with him. He dismissed it as superstition, but the feeling grew until he could no longer ignore it. Moments after he walked out, the building behind him crumbled like dust. He held his daughter as she cried and whispered, "I don't know who warned me, but someone did." What these stories have in common is not coincidence, it is mercy. And then, beyond natural disasters, there is the unrest rising in nations. The color revolutions, sudden riots, political collapses, uprisings that turned an ordinary morning into a battlefield. How many innocent people have died simply because they were in the wrong place at the wrong hour? Yet even there, quiet miracles. A student in Eastern Europe said she heard a voice in her heart telling her not to take the usual bus route to class. She dismissed the thought until it grew unbearable. Minutes later, that very street erupted in chaos, windows shattering, people running, smoke rising. She survived because she obeyed a feeling she could not explain. But those who pray every day know the truth. Grace speaks. Grace protects. Grace warns.
And now we reach the heart of the ninth secret. Our Lady's promise does not mean the faithful will never face danger. It does not mean they will never suffer or even never die suddenly. What it means is this: they will not die unprepared. Those who cling to the Rosary receive interior warnings, nudges of the soul, sudden intuition, mysterious urges to step away, unexpected moments of clarity or repentance. Heaven will not allow them to leave this world in spiritual darkness. Even if death comes swiftly, judgment will not. There will be a moment, perhaps only a heartbeat long, where grace floods the soul like lightning, giving them the chance to choose God with full awareness. This is Our Lady's mercy. This is the ninth secret. In a world where disaster strikes without a whisper, where death hides in storms and fires and trembling earth, those who are faithful walk under a shield, invisible to the eyes, but unmistakable to the spirit. Not a shield that prevents death, a shield that prevents damnation, a shield that prepares the soul before it stands before the judge. Our Lady does not abandon her children to surprise. She warns, she protects, she prepares. And when the final moment comes, she stands at the threshold, waiting, holding the rosary that guided them through the chaos of this world into the safety of the next. The 10th secret Our Lady longs for you to know is this: those who faithfully pray the rosary will not die alone. At the hour when the world fades, when the soul trembles between time and eternity, when fear tries to swallow the final breath, Mary herself will stand beside them, not as a distant figure, not as a memory, but as a living presence of light and tenderness. This is the final promise, the final lifeline for the dying. But to understand its power, listen to the story of a man whose life was marked by silence, suffering, and yet an unexpected grace. His name was André. He was an ordinary man, born in a humble village, raised in a home where faith was whispered more than taught. As a child, he watched his grandmother whisper the Rosary every night by candlelight. She would kiss the beads softly, as if greeting an old friend. André, too young to understand, only knew that something sacred moved in that dim room. After his grandmother died, he kept her rosary tucked away in a wooden drawer, untouched but never thrown away. Life grew loud, and faith faded into the background. Years passed. He married, worked tirelessly, raised children, struggled, succeeded, failed, like anyone else.
Then came the night when everything changed. It was winter. Snow fell softly outside his window, blanketing the world in white silence. André had been ill for months, though he hid the severity from his children. He didn't want to burden them. But that night, he knew. He felt a weariness deeper than fatigue, something in his spirit loosening, something in his breath faltering. He understood, without fear, that his hour had come. His eldest daughter, Anna, sat beside him, holding his hand. She whispered, "Papa, are you in pain?" He shook his head gently. "No, my child." Then, after a moment, he whispered again, "Bring me the rosary, the one from your great-grandmother." His daughter retrieved it, still intact after decades. The beads were worn smooth from long-ago prayers. André pressed them to his lips. The room grew strangely quiet. Time seemed to pause. André closed his eyes. And then it happened. The moment his vision darkened, another light appeared. Not the yellow lamp of the bedside table, not the shadows of the room. It was a brightness deeper than any daylight, soft yet powerful, warm yet weightless. And from that light, a figure stepped forward. She wore no crown, no grand garment, but her presence commanded awe. Her robe flowed like morning mist, her face radiant with love no human heart could fully comprehend. André knew instantly who she was, the mother, the one who had heard every prayer, the one who had kept every tear, the one who had walked with him through years of silent struggle, Mary. She approached his bedside and placed her hand gently on his forehead. Her touch was neither hot nor cold, neither heavy nor light, yet it carried peace so complete that it dissolved every fear. "My son," she said, not with sound, but with a voice that filled his soul, "you prayed, you trusted, you held on to these beads even when you felt far from God, and for that I am here. I will not leave you." His heart swelled. He tried to speak, but words were no longer needed. She understood everything. His regrets, his worries about his children, his longing for forgiveness, his fear of judgment. She answered with a smile that felt like dawn breaking. "You are not alone, André. You are not dying in darkness, but in grace." The room around him faded. His breath grew lighter. His pain vanished. He saw his daughter still clutching his hand, unaware of the heavenly presence beside them. He wanted to tell her,
but Mary shook her head gently. "Peace," she whispered. "Your journey continues." And then the final moment came. Not terror, not confusion, not despair, just a deep, silent surrender into love. André exhaled, and Mary lifted his soul from his body like a mother lifting a sleeping child.
This is the secret Our Lady wants you to know. No one who clings to the Rosary will face death alone. No faithful soul will enter eternity abandoned or frightened. Mary will be there, whether death is peaceful or sudden, expected or unforeseen, gentle or violent. She promised, "I will stand beside them at the hour of death." And she has never broken a promise. She comes for the poor and the rich, the young and the old, the saint and the repentant sinner. She comes whether the room is a hospital, a battlefield, a quiet bedroom, or a roadside where tragedy struck. She comes even when no one else can. She comes because the Rosary binds the soul to her heart, and no mother abandons her child at the final breath. This is the 10th secret, the last lifeline, the final mercy, a promise stronger than fear, deeper than death, brighter than the grave. Those who hold the Rosary in life will be held by Mary in death, and their first sight beyond this world will not be darkness, but her light.
Do not underestimate the power of the Rosary if you don't want misfortune to come upon you. The final 5 secrets will be revealed in the last video. Stay tuned.